Welcome back to another episode of Candid Conversations. And today we have with us Manju Latha Kalanidhi, who is Commonwealth Point of Flight awardee and also a Karamveer Chakra awardee, who has also been recognized globally for her Rice Bucket Challenge. She's also a very prominent journalist in the Hyderabad journalism circuit. And today we'll talk to her about journalism and the effects of AI on journalism and how people sort of understood and undertook the Rice Bucket Challenge and how it became a global phenomenon as such.
Hi, Shreya. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me and looking forward to candid conversations.
That's nice. So the first thing I actually want to talk to you about is how do you think journalism has changed and evolved since the last 2 decades that you've been in the space?
Right. So it has undergone a sea change. Actually, I would say like 180 degrees, where we started, and we have now completely moved to the other thing. It has taken unthinkable turns, pivots, I would say. I think the first change that came was late 90s when people started using computers. I know for someone as young as you, 90s is like so many decades away. But till then, it was almost the manual way. And then around late 90s, word star. So journalists started writing, filing their stories on the computer, and then it would go digital. That was one phase. And then around I think 2006 or 7 is when Google came into being. That also changed a lot. It meant easier work for journalists in terms of getting information, but also tough because you were always available on the mail, and you had to be on the call, you had to be doing things, stuff like that. Then of course 2015-16, when social media came, another range of changes
Right.
happened. It meant that anyone with a phone could become a journalist. It was no longer Manju's prerogative. Even
Right.
Shreya could be a journalist. So
Right.
that happened. And in the last 3 years, I would say with ChatGPT, I think that was, although AI has been there, I think ChatGPT was the first free tool, free resources for people. That also has kind of changed things. I mean, now you no longer have to, put your brain and think for headlines or story ideas or dig out information. It has become easy, but it has also become difficult. It's like that. Yeah, those are the pivots that have happened. I
Okay.
would say that from the year 2000 to 2025, a journalist work has increased at least 200 times. We are always on call. We are always there following up. I mean, the day begins with looking at your WhatsApp messages and ends with WhatsApp, and everything in between you're communicating. So we are fully packed, I would say.
Right. Yeah, there's like a couple of things that I want to follow up on what you've just spoken about.
Sure.
So when you say that people obviously talk about AI and like they're like, AI is going to take away all entry level editor jobs or like reporting jobs and stuff. So, but when you've said that AI has actually made it more difficult and more uh, easier to be a human journalist in that sense, because I don't know what you think about it, but would you say that ChatGPT also reports on the same level as like a human who's putting in emotions and like I don't know if we're at that level with AI as such, but what is your take on it as a industry spokesperson?
Right. So jobs, there are two kinds of things. Yes, jobs, technology has eaten away jobs. That is a reality. Because in the early 2000, there actually used to be, a post call a photographer who would go click his pictures, come back. And then we used to have a scanner, someone who used to scan the pictures, upload it digitally. Then there used to be someone who used to correct those pictures for the newspaper or the publication. Then there used to be a post called proofreader. But today Microsoft Word does proofreader. There is no proofreader
Right,
job in the media anymore. There
right,
is no scanner job because, well, you click photographs, you put your pen drive, you download pictures, you use the editing software, and zoom, it goes. Right. We used to have a physical library, physical library where we used to go and say, Anna, I need pictures of KCR and KTR family. right? There used to be a librarian, there used to be someone who used to put all these, then they would give us the photo which we would scan and all. Now what do? Go to Google, KCR, KTR, high resolution, download, tabap, ho gaya.
Yeah.
Right? So that job has absolutely gone.
I
I think the size of the newsroom has definitely shrunk by one fourth, but journalists are multitasking. So journalists are now coming up with ideas, fact checking, writing, proofreading, giving it creative headlines, putting it online on the digital media, posting it on social media. So it has, increased by 200 times. But the new jobs also have come in, which is video editors, social media managers, SEO managers, digital. So there are, maybe, I guess we've lost about 100 jobs, but we've also added 50 jobs. But these 50 jobs require new skills, new technology, more creativity, that kind of a thing. That's how I
right.
would say is the current scenario.
Right. Yeah, I think that does make a lot of sense. But another thing I also want you to talk about is how, like, is there any difference within journalism as a sector in India? Like, is there a North and South divide, or is there like a Telangana Andhra divide, or is it all the same?
Uh, Telangana, see, when I joined journalism, we were all the, united Andhra Pradesh. We were Telugu state, Andhra Pradesh. Only 2013, I think, what last 10 years, 12 years is when, when Telangana became a separate state. Yes, I think sometimes it does work very well when you have separate states. I would feel that Telangana as a state definitely has got more coverage, more importance, and more identity now. We, as reporters ourselves, when you have a bigger state, you have so many things, but now you more focus on, okay, Telangana artists, for example. Now we are doing stories on Telangana artists, we are doing on Telangana art, Telangana folk art. So many things we are doing now, which somehow wasn't such a mainstream thing to do. Maybe once in a while as a bonalu or something we used to do. But I would say that Telangana has got a better coverage now. Regarding North and South divide, I guess more or less all metros would stand in the same. I mean, whether you're a journalist in Delhi,
Right.
Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, Hyderabad, it's all the same. Maybe if you're in a tier 2 or tier 3 city, perhaps you might have less access to the government officials. I would say, although of course being in the center in a place like Delhi, because, well, you have the parliament, you have the ministries, you have the embassies, you do have more access to more people. But being in Hyderabad is not a bad idea either. I would say we are somewhere in between. In terms of technology, I think what Hyderabad the television channel uses is as good as what an NDTV uses or in India Today uses. What probably TV9 or a TV5 has is on par, maybe even better.
Mhm.
So that is not really a difference.
Okay, on the same lines, do you think global journalism and Indian journalism is different? I mean, obviously, each country has like its own style of reporting and, their
Yeah,
own kind
yeah,
of media corporations and such. But do
yeah.
you think there's any predominant, not predominant, but then any underlying or like any underrated differences as such between Indian and
Yes,
journalism? And also,
absolutely.
yeah, and also
Yeah.
let's talk about which is better. Like, what are the best features of both of them, global and Indian journals?
Sure. So, in terms of press freedom, I think India is not doing too well. I am not exactly sure of where we stand in. So, there is a global index that is released by global organizations on what constitutes press freedom, which
Yeah.
means how much
Mhm.
can the press report? What
Mhm.
is happening to the reports? Is the government taking it seriously, or is it burying it under the whatever the carpet? Is there threat to the journalists who are reporting against the government? So based on these parameters, there is something called a global press freedom that is rated, and I think India is doing very poorly there. If you go back to the statistics, there are several hundreds of journalists who are killed because they've unearthed stories, or maybe they've written against the authorities. So that absolutely constitutes a very sad state of affairs. However, having said that, when you compare it with a few other maybe Middle Eastern countries, where even if you take something like a country like Singapore, it is vastly state driven journalism, which means the state basically tells the newspapers or gives them an annual report or a daily report saying that this is what it is, now you publish it. They are not really equipped to do a lot of independent journalistic stories, because they're, I mean, the government doesn't allow that kind of stuff. But in India, you still can do investigative stories. You are allowed more press freedom. So we are somewhere in between. We have the opportunity to do better than other countries, but because of other factors, other extraneous factors, we are also not doing. So I guess we will have to really work hard to get up there, where the truth can be told in a bold and in a, fearless manner. It'll take some time, but I guess I'm hoping we'll get there sometime.
Right. So what do you think can be done better apart from, like in terms of a technology perspective, or technically like everybody right now, or like at least 90% of people, they get their news from social media, or, you know, or like
Yeah.
people or WhatsApp, we don't know how true all of those news articles or like news facts are, because there's no social checking and such. But what do you think can be done uh, within the space to bring in more people into, the truth or the fact side of journalism, and like to
Yeah.
get people excited about long format journalism or such?
Yes. So it is true, and I agree. And I myself am a digital convert.
Right.
Yes, every airport look is paid for. I know of people
Every
who I
all
meet
of
at
them, or nothing is organic?
95%. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So there are WhatsApp groups for journalists, film journalists,
Right.
where they exactly tell you that ABC actress is coming at Hyderabad airport sharp at 4:15 p.m. Yeah, you get it. And then you get paid to do that. But they will act all casual. They'll pretend like they don't know,
Right. Yeah.
uh, or they've just been caught off guard. But everything is stage managed. Everything is paid for. In fact, a lot of gossip you read is also paid for. Have you ever noticed how, when a big release is happening,
Right.
suddenly you will find the actor talking about his single status or his marital status or his partner? Yeah. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess
Yeah. Yeah.
in
That's
in that sense,
That's
how
because how long will you talk about your movie? Yeah, how long will you say, "Oh, it's a great director. I love working for this production house. Idanతా ఒక picnic లాగా చేసుకున్నాం." It's not content that sells, right? But if you say like, uh, you know, um, I don't know, I might be dating this actor,
right,
or if you say something like that, then you are there in the news all over. So even that is plugged in. We do Editors do get saying that, would you like to cover a bit of his personal life or her personal life? So a lot of these things are paid for. Maybe 10% is genuine, which is what, again, coming back to the traditional publication. So we still today, for example, I get an actor. They say, okay, there is this XYZ actor, would you like to write about him or her? Then my first question is, what is the news point? Why am I writing? Does this actor have a body of work? Does this actor has some release? What kind of a gravitas do they have? This is what traditional media does. But paid media is like, okay, and talk to my advertising manager, ఇది మా ఫీజు, మీరు ప్రెస్ నోట్ పంపించేసండి, ఫోటోలు పంపించేసండి, అప్లోడ్ చేసేస్తాం. That's how it works.
oh, okay. So in that sense of like, how do you want what do you think can change with like media houses in terms of, again, it's public psychology, consumer psychology, that you want to sell to people what do you think they would buy at the end of the day, right? So in that sense, how do you
Right.
think we can bridge the gap between traditional
Yeah.
media and just clickbaity news articles or like headlines?
Yeah, I think first people should. I always believe in this, and I've told in multiple interviews is that, like they say, Yatha Raja Tada Praja. I feel that Yatha audience Tata media house. So if you consume gossip, if you are always clicking on those links, only those links will come into your phone, and then you'll be always reading that kind of gossipy, nothing impactful or nothing interesting. I think yes. Just because you are a traditional media house and you've been in the business for 100 years doesn't mean you should not update. I do believe that we should be interesting, we should be relevant, we should be using new technology tools, new editing tools, new SEO tools. Because well, you've done a great interview, authentic interview of an actress, but if you're not putting it out and being found, what is the point? I think the best phase of journalism is when traditional, authentic, genuine media houses uh, adapt to the new age things that the gossip sites are doing. Take their technology, take their editing skills, take their ability to catch hold of the audience, but still remain genuine, remain grounded to what you are doing. A good mix of being authentic but having technical acumen is what will give the audience the right news from the right sources.
Mhm.
So we'll
Right.
need to get something from them, learn something from them, but still retain our original talent, which is
Mhm.
authentic news, verified news, genuine news, fact checked news, no
Right.
gossip, no misinformation, no disinformation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that sense, where do you think the technical acumen is sort of lagging between traditional? Like, how do you think traditional houses can bring in
Right.
technologies and stuff? And what
Right. So
are they
traditional
on?
media houses also have editors who may have been around for the last 30, 40 years and who have a certain mindset towards technology. They feel like, why do we have to do that? Why do we have to cater to this? Let us give the news what we've been running the newspapers for the last 30 years. ఇప్పుడేం చేంజ్ అయింది మనం ఎందుకు మారాలి? That won't work. It won't work because if you see in a website, you can go back and see what stories are people clicking on. Sometimes you miss out, people don't click on a good story because, well, maybe you did not cater to that clickbaity stuff. Your
Right.
news is good, your news is authentic, but yeah, unfortunately, you do have to give interesting one. So maybe hiring the right kind of people who are creative.
Mhm.
So you come up with good news, but go to the next stage and hire people who can put that, who know how the SEO works, who know what words people are keying in. So you need to hire those kind of people. That's when I think media houses will do their best and can survive the onslaught of these random channels which can generate news. And although I mean I'm sure you come across every day, you come across 8 to 10 YouTube channels where the thumbnail looks very interesting, but
Right.
3 minutes into it, and it's just fake. So,
Mhm. Right. That's another entire spiral. But let's talk about the rice bucket challenge and how did it actually become a global news item that's picked up by
phenomenon,
NPR, Time magazine.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a very beautiful, interesting story, and I would definitely, I would say it's like a chance. It just happened in my life. I think it is divine coincidence, divine providence, because I'm sure there are hundreds of people who have been donating for a cause, but why did my cause become so viral? I think it's because, see, at that point of time, there was another campaign called the Ice Bucket Challenge,
Right.
which was also raising donations for a certain disease. It was a great cause.
Right.
But then they were pouring water, and some people were
Right.
like, oh my God, why are we pouring water? Why are these people
Ice
yelling like this?
water especially. Right.
Yes, yes, that's why it's called the Ice Bucket Challenge. So, what is this cringe thing? Why are people yelling? What the hell is this? So, I was also one of those people who also felt like most of you guys felt. But I think I went one step ahead and I just said, hey, I reacted, I responded. I took the next step and I say, why waste water when you can donate rice? Because, well, I mean, rice is a staple, and you'll find poor people everywhere in India. So I simply bought like a bucket of rice and gave it to someone. And those were the days when Facebook was the Instagram of that
Mhm.
zamana.
Yeah.
And I posted, and I think within half an hour, maybe people really loved the concept, and they were like, "Hey, this is so cool. This is a desi challenge, and we want to join you." And those were the times where that Chiranjeevi movie had also had come. Naku thanks cheppakandi, mugguriki sahayam cheyandi. I don't know. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the Jai Ho Salman Khan concept.
Jai Ho, yeah, that is in Hindi. Telugulo Stalin. I think it's
Ah,
actually borrowed from a Hollywood concept. It's called paid forward concept.
yeah.
So people just like, hey, you know what? You should help. You can help. Do a good job. Do a good deed. Talk about it. Help and motivate others. This was the concept, and donating rice wasn't such a big thing. Today, also, 1 kg of rice is like what, 65, 70 rupees, a good quality Sona Masuri, the kind that typically most people eat. So I said, donate 1 kg of rice and tag 3 people, because 1 kg of rice can feed a family of 4 for about 3 days, and you are giving them food. Maybe, I don't know, give vegetables also, give more nutritious
Right.
stuff. So people liked it. It was something that everybody could do. It was also instant gratification. And these days, what, a cup of coffee, Starbucks coffee, yeah, what does it cost? 325? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a basic
Something.
would be
The
300.
basic is 325, 325, 340, something with GST. You can feed like one entire family for a week with that kind of a money.
Right.
So I just put forward that idea because I am someone who does very badly with hunger. And I feel like sometimes hunger can take you to a stage where you could commit a murder. I mean, there are instances where hunger deaths have happened. People have behaved. There is a term called hangry also,
Right.
wherein you
Yeah.
are angry because you haven't been fed on time. I mean, poverty is real. Poverty is everywhere in India. I don't have to quote you any World Bank statistics to do that. You go around and you'll see that. And this, Shreya, happens despite public distribution schemes, where the government is giving rice. Either they are not giving the quality that people should be eating, or they don't go on time, or there are some technical difficulties where they are not, whatever it is, there are still people who need rice. It could be an orphanage, it could be an old age home. There are lots of people who lose jobs, and sometimes they can't come back and say, okay, pay me 40,000 for this, but they can say, give me a grocery kit, ma'am, for the next 3 months at least. నేను కడుపు నిండా తింటాను, help me do that so that I can focus on my job and all that. So అది ఇప్పుడు కూడా 2025 లో కూడా I still get people asking me for that. So well, at that point of time, people loved the concept. They joined me. There was a college in Karimnagar that saw my thing and said, "Are akka start chesindi." I told, Telangana movement appude Telangana form ayindi. So
Oh,
Manju Latha start chesindi. Manam kuda will join this Telangana movement అని చెప్పి that college 2,200 students అందరూ 1 kg of rice తీసుకొచ్చారు. By the end of the day, they had 2,200 kgs of rice, and they distributed to 25 families. And then they tagged 3 other colleges. Those took it up. They motivated corporates,
mhm.
political parties, schools. I mean, like, it spread like wildfire everywhere. Everybody loved. And it was also fun thing, to put up a picture saying that I did this, why don't you do this? Of course, daniki kuda koncham, I did get some I did get some backlash, but we can
Yeah.
talk about it. But people love this simple, sweet, tangible campaign, and they joined me. But my biggest success has been during COVID-19. Those 2 years of 2 lockdowns, I raised around 21 lakh worth groceries and distributed to the entire country, I would say.
Right. When you talk about negative backlash, what do you mean exactly? Like mean comments, hate comments, or like did they shut this thing down or something?
Like, see, if there are 100 people who took part in my campaign,
Right.
Genuinely. I mean, they would go, they would give me voice notes, they would give me video. They people who took also told me, Mark Ochindandi, we received it all. Some people were like, what is this publicity stunt? Yeah, left, if you give it with your left hand, your right hand shouldn't know. So what is this bada publicity thing where you give like 1 kg of rice and then you put off one photo and motivate three people? This is so fake and all. I'm like, no, you are cutting your hair, you're putting a new outfit, you're eating an ice cream, you're doing a selfie, and you're telling the world. Why should you shy away when you do a small donation and help someone? Why is helping someone not so cool? I don't believe that you should not talk about it. You should definitely talk. In fact, motivate others and even make a commitment like, this year I'm going to do these many charity events. I believe in that. And well, I guess the majority of people believed in it. So essentially, those were the comments. But my thing is that if a selfie can feed another family, what today I donate to someone and motivate three other people, and that can feed three people, why should you shy away? I'm fine. Go ahead with your comments, but I will continue to do that. So I think that conviction in my cause is what um, has been a driving factor in the success of Rice Bucket Challenge as a campaign.
Right. Okay. So, final ending thoughts. What do you think is the future of journalism? Like in a hypnosis kind of way. What do you think it is going to be in the next 10, 20 years per se?
Right. Journalism will be there. It has bright future, but like the law of nature, it is the survival of the fittest,
Right.
survival of the thickest, thick skin, I meant.
Okay.
There is no doubt that you will have to learn. You will have to catch up. There will be a time, Shriya, where journalists may have to learn coding to remain relevant.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
for websites and stuff, or
I don't know, you could be, maybe you will be doing that. Like directly from my house, I'll be uploading news and it will reach you.
right.
There is a
Yeah.
certain scenario that can, I mean, today I send it to my maybe a digital, I
Yeah.
mean, journalists send it to their digital team and all, but it might be much more different in future. Well, I follow some international international forums for journalists. I'm a big passionate person who reads all kinds of newsletters, websites, and updates about anything about journalism. Naku, in my Gmail, I have a Google alert for journalists every time. So
Oh,
every day my mailbox is
okay.
full of journalism, journalists or something. And I do follow like a crazy, insane number of journalists. I love to see, oh my God, what story are they doing? I do get FOMO.
Right.
So I was reading there and it said that you will have to learn everything. Sorry, but that's the news. You may have to do photo editing. You may have to do chat GPT prompts. You may have to learn photo editing,
Right.
everything, do everything,
Right.
be there and survive. I think, I don't know if you want to be a journalist. Like, see, today, Shreya, if you see an actor, you
Mm-hmm.
see how actors also have gotten makeover. 30 years ago you could just be an actor, you did not have to do
Right.
film interviews,
Yeah.
nothing. Today you have to talk in public, for a, what do you call that, pre-release functions.
Yeah.
You
Press
might be,
meets and stuff.
yeah, you might be an introvert. You have never been on the stage. But today you have to be on the stage. You have to dance to some hit song in your movie. You have to talk to or address some 15,000 gathering. You should have a social media
Doing-
channel. I mean, yeah, you should keep in touch. You should have great photo shoots. You should be seen in like 50 interviews on TV channels. And every interview you should say something viral. You should be dress up good. You should look glamorous. You should crack jokes. See, from being just actors who would act on when the camera was on to what they're doing now,
Yeah.
right? They are
I think
surviving.
they're
They
doing
have to look
everything
great.
apart from acting.
Yeah,
Right.
they have to do all of that. So I'm saying that even journalism also has changed a lot. You might be in numbers, you will have to do multitasking, you will have to do everything. Only then you will survive. But it's not such a bad thing because you have technology doing it. Previously, you had to commute maybe 3 hours to go to office. Now you can write it from home and send it. So obviously, you will have to work harder, but you will get there. And see, news will be there until the humanity will be there.
Right.
And until humanity will be there, journalism will be there. I can only see a bright future. And do not ever say people who say anything but that.
Right. Wow, that's a very American underlying current. Work hard. It's been a candid conversation with Manju Latha. Thank you so much for being on Candid Conversations.
Pleasure, Shreya. Hope to see you again.
And this has been a